Hello, my name is Lito. The topic of our video, dark lips neutralization. On the Vegas PMU conference, I met with wonderful woman, Valeriia Horiuk, Lero Lux. She was a speaker with the topic dark lips neutralization. And I asked her a permission to share with you the part of her presentation. Everything for you, my dear subscribers.
When I started doing my treatments, I started with using orange and yellows. I did that a lot also. But in the end, I didn't feel that I like the very last result after several touch-ups. They looked a bit orangey or browny. And then I started to take more pink pigments, more coral pigments, started to try different things. And I understood that for brown pigmentation, light pink pigments work the best. So here you can see on this picture several pictures with nude brown, reddish brown, grayish brown, dark brown. Brown pigmentation can also be so different. But in all these cases, I would use pigments with a stronger pink base and less coral base to achieve good results. And now I want to show you why, and you will see it yourself. Here you can see 3 circles of brown pigment, like brown pigmentationist look, and on the top of that I put 3 transparent circles with the pigment, orange, pink and coral. Look at the orange. If I would use orange pigment on lips with brown pigmentation, what we will have in the end? It's orangey brown lips. It will be like that. If I put pink pigment on lips with brown pigmentation, they look naturally pink. It looks much better. And if I use coral, it looks okay, but I think pink is better. So for lips with brown pigmentation, I love to use pigments on more pink base and less coral. But when I use pink, it doesn't mean that I use pink itself. I always mix. I will tell you about this a little bit later. So here on this picture, you can again see how it works. If I put orange on purple, how it looks? It looks brown, right? If I put pink on purple, it looks cool and it looks pale. This is actually like the color which I got on my client about the mistake I told you. And if I put coral on purple, it looks much better. It gives naturally looking pink. So this is the number one thing. We are looking at the undertone of pigmentation. If it's brown or if it's purple. You need to explain that to your clients when they just come to see you for a treatment. Tell them that you cannot predict how many sessions it will be needed for their lips, because your clients have expectations and you have to be more realistic, and it's better if you will tell them worse than if you will promise them something and they will not get it quickly. We have to check color of pigmentation, like if it's more brown or more purple. So this is the 3rd level of pigmentation. Usually it's Fitzpatrick 4 and 5. And for these lips, I'm taking pigments of higher value. They have to be light. They have to have more titanium dioxide inside to create more opacity. So also more sessions are needed for such lips. Sometimes it can be 2 touch-ups, sometimes it can be 3 touch-ups. But like I said, tell that to your client in advance, so they are prepared. And also we check here which color of the pigmentation, if it's brown or purple. And here is Fitzpatrick 4. We have much more pigmentation here. And if you're starting doing this treatment, try not to take at the beginning clients with the pigmentation level 4, because it's really hard to work on them and more sessions will be needed. But if you're working on them, I'm using pigments of the highest value for these clients, and I can even add few drops of white pigment inside to have even lighter colors and even better opacity. And more sessions, of course, here are needed. And I want to tell you one more thing. When we have level 4, usually they have more cool undertone of their pigmentation. Usually it's more purple, and I'm using more coral pigments on them. So this is what I'm seeing when my clients come to me with this level of pigmentation. Usually all of them are more to purple. Evenflo Max, I will use evenflo Romance as a pink pigment. I will use evenflo EF5 as a coral pigment. And I put 8 drops of pink pigment, it's evenflo romance. And I put 2 drops of coral pigment, it's EF5. Also mix the bottles well because titanium dioxide is sinking down, remember that. And I'm mixing them really well in the cups. Here you can put it on the cotton round and you can see that it's beautiful, like warm pink color. The machine that I will be using for this treatment is Valeriia Horiuk. I really love this machine. I'm doing recently almost all my treatments with this machine. As I'm working on the very end of my needle, my work is more affected by needle taper than by needle diameter. Because needle, for example, long needle taper, it leaves smallest pixel. Medium needle taper, it leaves bigger pixel. And the short needle taper, it leaves the biggest pixel. I actually didn't see short needle tapers on market, but I see that some brands have medium taper and I always take them because they help me to faster implant. We all want to work a little bit faster. We don't want to sit on a client for hours working. Like, it's better to use something that gives us faster color implantation. And for that purpose, I love to use medium taper needles. If you traumatize pigmentation, during the healing process, it can heal through darkening, not like through lightening, but through darkening before getting lighter. It's better to work on pigmentation very gently, like with softer pressure and not to traumatize it too much. If you see that lips during work got super swollen, it's better to stop and to take your client for a touch-up later than to overwork their lips, especially when they have pigmentation. I definitely felt that. I'm working more slowly, trying to cover the area really well, because during this treatment, when we are working on a pigmentation, our coverage, it has to be really good because it has to cover the pigmentation. So about shading technique. So here you can see how I'm working on areas with pigmentation. I'm working with dense horizontal strokes along areas with pigmentation. They are a little bit longer in their length. My hand movement is more slow. I try to cover them really well. And here you can see how the shading should look. I overlap around 80%. So I don't jump quickly ahead. I very slowly cover block by block, and each block has the overlap 80%. I don't go quickly ahead, you can see it. My first pass is black, next pass is red, next pass is green. And if you're working like that, you will have very stable coverage. Your coverage will be so good that it will cover very good the pigmentation. Movements along the pigmentation. Here again, I'm working along the pigmentation, and then coming to the upper line, I'm going with more diagonal movements. Yeah, here also. Here is again. On the lower line, usually client have this pigmentation. Here on the lower lip, on the lower line, and in the corners usually. And then I wipe to check how it works, and if it's needed, I can go one more time over the same area to have better coverage. But you can see even after one time, it looks already much better. It looks much more pink. Here you can see how I'm working in the middle of the lower lip, where there is no pigmentation. My strokes are much more loose. I'm working faster and they are more diagonal. I try to blend them, not to make this area not so saturated with the pigment, because it's already light and my pigment will be so visible on this area. Saturate really good, especially here in the corners of upper and lower lip. It's a little bit harder to implant color there. So try to work several times over one place to be sure that you implant it well. So I give my client the mirror, she checked the results, she's happy.
If you would like to learn more about dark lip neutralization, please follow Valeriia on her Instagram and please sign up on her online course. Thank you very much for watching. Please sign up on my online courses and learn more about PMU. Bye bye!